Spanning the globe to bring you the constant variety of art, it's the Tenet Podcast. I'm Todd Pearson, here with the notorious WDB. You know him as quite possibly the most interesting man in the world, my partner and good friend, Wes Brown.
Todd, oh my God, we're getting the storm of the century coming in. I think we're going to be snowed in for 3-4 days. Can't wait.
You can't wait?
Can't wait.
You can work from home.
I know. Yeah.
Is that why you're kind of low key tonight?
No,
like,
the
barometric pressure is affecting you?
Just dropped. Now it's snow time in about 3 hours.
It'll be all quiet. You could go for your evening walk.
I know. Crunching the freshly fallen
I like
snow.
that.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than that.
Yeah.
And so how you been? I haven't talked to you.
Not too bad.
In like 5 or 6 days, maybe.
Yeah. My granddaughter's got here the weekend, spent the weekend with me and I think it's her boyfriend. I don't know what they are. They live together. They used to be boyfriend and girlfriend, but they spent the weekend together. I don't know what they are, but had a great time. See my son, see my middle granddaughter. Got to see some buffalo and just commune with nature. So that's always good. Did that Saturday. So that was wonderful. Buffalo looking good. All hairy. Ready for winter.
Nice. So it was a whole family weekend.
It was. Now it's post-family letdown. Maybe that's what it is. Post-family letdown. Now it's just me, Tonette, and my dad.
Back to the normal scenario.
Yep.
Well, Christmas is right around the corner, my friend.
Oh, ho, ho.
Have you been naughty or nice this year?
Well, we know we haven't been nice. Pretty naughty. So I'm getting some coal. But that'll be good because I need to burn some heat. So it'll all work
I think
out.
You're getting reindeer poop. That's what you're going to find on Christmas Day. That's what that's what my lovely wife always threatens.
Reindeer poop? Yep. Better than buffalo poop.
Yeah, that doesn't sound very appealing.
Although you can burn buffalo poop. Poop like the pioneers.
Isn't there that snack? That's the reindeer poop.
Oh, I think there is a snack.
Chocolate covered snack.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to jump in because
I guess.
that made me think
I'm
of
glad you
chocolate-covered
are.
popcorn.
Jesus Christ. All right. Rainbow poop, the snack. That's what Todd's getting for Christmas.
That's what I'm getting.
So how you doing, Todd? Holy smoke.
I'm good, man. I am just cruising right along. I'm excited
for the happening.
Yeah, I got new digs in the 40 West Art District, so I'm pretty excited about that. And I'm going to start recording from there probably in the next couple of weeks, hopefully by our next interview.
God, we're going to have new studios. We won't even know what to do with ourselves because I'll have my basement studio going and you'll have your photography studio going. And
we're moving up in the world, dude.
We are. That's right.
Don't ask me, but I have my new studio too.
I was going to comment on this when you came on. I like your new digs. I haven't seen the whole place, but where you're at now, your office space looks cool.
You have to come over and see it. That's an invite to you too, Wes, if you ever come out of the frozen north.
The frozen north.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, hopefully we get to see. Oh, go ahead.
No, I overlooked Cheeseman Park. It's wonderful. It's great. It's tiny. It's perfect. See, I have my books. That's all I need. And my remote control.
There you go.
And this lamp. Did you just get that, Wes?
Are you going to do the jerk monologue?
No, that's it. I've stopped. I'm stopping. Stop.
I love that.
Love that movie.
I do too. So before we get down this rabbit hole or one of these rabbit holes, I just want to mention a quick reminder. You can always find out what we're up to via our social media on Instagram at Tenet Podcast, on our Tenet Facebook page, and of course our website, tenetpodcast.com. And Rose, Wes, it's that time of year again. If you're looking for a gift for that special someone that loves art, share Tenet with them. It's the gift that keeps giving. It's free, and you don't have to wait in line at the post office.
Sweet. I'm giving it.
And finally, before we get to this week's interview, tomorrow night, Friday, December 16th from 6 to 9 p.m. at Bit Factory Gallery, it's the opening of West by Midwest, a Tenet podcast showcase group exhibition featuring the paintings of Shannon Mello, Megan Wilbar, and Mark Zimmerman. All three of these artists have been featured on Tenet. West by Midwest runs through the 12th of January. And on January 7th at 6 p.m., we will have an artist talk with all three of these artists, Shannon, Megan, and Mark. It's going to be a spectacular exhibition, so shake a leg, come on down. We'd love to see you. Bit Factory Gallery is located at 851 Santa Fe Drive, Denver, right in the heart of the Art District on Santa Fe. All right. Joining us for the fourth time on Tenet.
Hey, I'm waiting for my jacket. Is that in the mail? My
wait.
Fourth time.
It's going to be one of those like 70. What was that material? The 70s, like really shiny jackets. We should get the satin jackets, and you can hook us up, Wes.
I can.
Our guest this week is one of our favorite people. Since 1997, she has grown and curated one of the finest exhibitions of contemporary Western art in the United States, the Coors Western Art Exhibit and Sale. She's our dear friend, our sister from another mister, the exquisite Rose Fredrick.
Hey, so good to be here. I love you guys. It's been way too long. You know what? It made me so happy, Todd, when you just showed up the other day at the Coors show.
Well, I told you I would. I told you I was going to come scope it out.
I know people say that though, and then they don't come. And then what they don't realize is I just go sit in the closet and cry. But you showed up. I might. You don't know.
I'll tell you what.
Wes,
I don't believe
shaking his head.
The crap that's coming out of your mouth tonight. You don't go hide in a closet and cry because there's always people there. I've been there. Maybe not on the first night, but.
Yeah. You need to come. When are you coming? I know.
Well, probably January 7th since we have an artist talk.
Oh.
So.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll be there that weekend. Well, probably that day. We'll see how the weekend pans out. So,
hey, you know what? I want to plug Bit Factory. I love Bill and everything he's doing there and the artist studios. And if you're listening to this and you don't know about Bit Factory, you got to go check it out because he's like giving artists a chance to show their work. And like, you know, you guys have curated a show of people that, you know, if you're a regular listener to the podcast, you've heard them, and now you get to see their work. And it's just, I love the model and I love the idea because it's so hard to find a place for shows, and it's a beautiful space, and you can get good food on Santa Fe Drive. And yeah, I love it down there. I can't wait to see the show. You're
going to come on Friday?
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Awesome. I'm so excited that you're going to come.
Oh yeah. I'm going to come. I wouldn't miss it.
I thoroughly enjoyed coming to the preview of the Coors Western the other day. It's the first time that I've had the opportunity to do that. Every year I just see it during the stock show. Mm-hmm. But the problem with that is, and feel free to jump in, but the problem is that a lot of the art that you see at the preview or that you will see at the red carpet reception that you hold every year, a lot of that art gets sold. And so you don't get to see it during the stock show. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, when you come to the preview, you get to see everything. But afterwards, when the stock show's up and running, it's half, a little less than half of the work that we have. Just because you know when you came to see it, so we basically take over the whole third floor of the National Western Hall of Education. And then after, on January 3rd is our opening. And that night, sold work goes home with people. They just walk out the door with it. And we have to take everything down that's out in the main area and just collapse the whole show into the gallery. And while my crew is doing that, like at 10 o'clock at night, vendors are already starting to move in and breathe down our neck. And it's just Looney Tunes. But yeah, so half the art, it has to go home because pony rides and petting zoo go up. So yeah, we kind of get the boot.
Pony takes priority.
Pony takes priority. Yeah.
It is amazing when I got to see the whole thing just the realization that I have of how much I'm missing out on if I don't get to see it prior, or I've never been to the red carpet event, so I can't speak to that. But yeah, so that was nice. And you do this every year, and it's only for 4 or 5 days typically. Is that right?
The previews in December, second week in December, Monday through Thursday. I'm thinking I might make it Monday through Friday, or even push it through the weekend, because so many people want to try and get there to see it, and it's kind of catching on, and it's really fun. So no sales, it's totally low key. It's just nice. So second week in December, and then we shut it down and pull it all back out and put it up on this year on January 2nd on that Monday. Just shine everything up and make sure the lights are all working and get ready for the 3rd big opening. And then we're open to the public with the stock show. So just if you come to the stock show, when you buy a grounds pass, you can come up, see the show at Hall of Education.
Yeah. I think that would be great if you were able to extend that a little bit more, because I'll tell you what, I mean, I have the flexibility, but not everybody has the flexibility to come during the week, right? And it's like a 6-hour window, like from 10 to 4 or something like that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, it's such a weird building. They're really old buildings. And so we're going to move into the legacy building because, they're redoing that whole campus out there. So if you ever drive around, CSU has a number of buildings going up for a satellite campus. It's going to be really cool. And so we're going to be in this legacy building, and it's, with COVID, everything got pushed back. I think we were technically supposed to be in this year, but that's out the window. I think we'll be lucky if we can get into the new building in 2025. But, in the new space, it'll have security, and I can leave everything up. I don't have to put it up and take it down. And we have to hire a guard to hang out with the art all night long, just because there's no security. We have security in the gallery, but not out where the pony rides are. So it's kind of tough for right now, but once we get a new space, it'll be good. I hope.
I bet it will. I can't imagine how good it'll feel that first year when you don't have to rehang a bunch of art because you don't have to be out of that space, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, quite honestly, we're just all getting older, and so physically moving that art it's a lot of work, and every time you move art, you have the chance of damaging it. So, I've got a really great crew of installers, and they're all artists too, but it gets a little hairy. So it'll be nice not to have to do all that stuff too. So looking forward to it. I'll keep you posted on that one. But
are you afraid you're going to lose any foot traffic by moving into the new building?
No, I'm not, because so it's kind of cool. The legacy building is going to be connected to the horse events and arena. So, and there'll be a concourse, but then also, so I think where the art is going to be, you'll be on the second floor of the legacy building. And then the floor above us is going to be the restaurant, and it's going to have these big open terraces and bars. And so it's going to be central to everything that's going on. So when you kind of walk up to the National Western, the legacy building is going to be the first building you really kind of see there. So I think it'll have a good draw. And then the other great thing about the new legacy building is on the first floor, we're going to have a gallery for all the art that we've collected. So our permanent collection will be on display year round, and the National Western Archives will be on display as well. So I think it'll be a year round draw too, which would be really nice.
Well, I think the lucky thing is you're going to be attached to the horse barn, so you'll still have that sweet pony smell.
Exactly. You noticed that, didn't you? But you're like a farm boy, so of course you're like, oh,
smells like home.
Oh. It's exactly right.
Well, it sounds like the perfect combination: art, alcohol, and horses.
Yeah. What could go wrong?
What could go wrong?
Yeah. I was doing an interview out there one time, like early in the morning, and I had to meet at the horse barn or one of the arenas. And we were walking past this. I didn't realize it was the entrance, and all the barrel racers were practicing. And so we just saunter past, and then whoosh, we almost got nailed by, I almost died that day. Nailed by a crazy ass barrel racer. They're nuts.
That's exciting.
It was exciting.
That'll get your adrenaline going.
Yeah, it did. That's the most exciting thing that's ever happened to me out there. Getting hit by a horse almost.
After all these years, that's one of the most exciting things. What is one of the craziest things that you've seen either at the stock show itself or during the Coors art exhibit and sale?
Oh my God. Oh, okay. Wait. I don't know if I ever told you the story, but my volunteers were afraid to tell me. So one year I had these two artists hanging across from these gallery walls from each other. And one was Teresa Elliott, and she's this hyper realist painter who does like cattle, but think like cows if Mona Lisa were a cow, these just really gorgeous scenery, but every eyelash and they're just really magnificent paintings. And across from her, I had Ted Waddell, who basically paints with house paint and all this kind of stuff. And like he does these paintings that are just big blobs of, paint everywhere. They're pretty abstract canvases and they're just loaded down with paint. The Denver Art Museum has several. Like there's one called, I think it's called Motherwell's Cattle. Anyway, they're really fabulous paintings, but complete opposite ends of the spectrum. And so when I came in one afternoon, this volunteer, they were all kind of huddled around. I'm like, all right, what happened? And they're like, well, we're not sure if we should tell you, but this old rancher came in and he was kind of in a bad mood. And he's like, well, I come up here every year just to see the art because I feel like I should. And they're like, the volunteer was so sweet. She's like, great. Well, if you have any questions, just, let me know. And he's like, all right. And he walks in, he's walking around. He goes up to Teresa Elliott's work and he just stands there. And then he turns around and he sees this Ted Waddell, just big splotches of house paint everywhere. And he's looking at that. And finally he walks back up to the front. He gets the volunteer, drags her back to those paintings. And he points to Teresa Elliott's work and he's like, that is incredible. But this, he points at Ted, this is a colossal waste of paint. And I was like, I told my volunteers, I'm like, that's the best story ever. Because you know what? That's what art should do. Art should get under your skin. Like you should feel something. You should react. I always tell people the worst thing you can say to me about an exhibit I curate is, oh yeah, it was nice. I'm like, I failed. I know I failed. If it was nice, if it got under your skin and it annoyed you or in some way, or you felt compelled to call me and talk to me about it, I'm like, yeah, that's a win. That's a good show. So yeah, I love that story. Crusty old farmers.
Got the best of both worlds. Some he really loved and some he hated. So
yeah,
it's good.
Yeah,
good day for him.
I know, but you know what? To just be that unnerved by it, he had to go get that volunteer and bring her back. Let her know.
He put some effort into it to make his opinion known, right?
He put effort into it. God, I love that guy.
Yeah,
that's great.
You should have a picture of that guy.
I know I should. I wonder if he's been back in. I haven't asked. Probably has.
It'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to interview just random people that walk through the gallery and just, I mean, you get to do that anyway, but seriously, like getting their opinion on certain things. Though I feel like the exhibit this year, there's not much, I don't feel like there's much controversy or things to get worked up about. I mean, it's just spectacular. It's beautiful.
I thought you were going to say it's just nice.
It's nice. Rose,
really
thanks
nice.
so
Nice,
much for being
Rose.
on the podcast. It was nice to have you. You're so nice. You know what? There isn't real. I don't think there's anything like remember the year when I had Laura Wilson's photograph of the coyotes hanging from that tree? They were
Yeah.
bleeding out, the coyotes. Do you remember that?
I've seen
think
the
that might have
picture. I
been-
don't remember.
I think that might have been pre-us, as far as us, Wes and I, being able to experience
it?
that. Yeah,
I know
Oh,
we talked
man.
about it.
But yeah,
Yeah.
you've told this story before, which go ahead
Yeah.
and retell it.
So Laura Wilson, she's a terrific photographer and does a lot of big black and white, large format. And so she went to, she spends like months at a time at different places. And this was on Watt Matthews land in Texas. And there was this mesquite tree where these, I think it was like 8 or 9 coyotes were hanging, like they were being bled out. And I can't remember the name of that painting, but she said, yeah, there's a bounty on coyotes because, you know, they kill your cattle, your livestock, so when you kill them and bring them in, you get paid for it, $50 or something. So she had this picture of it. And, she and I talked about it before the show. And she said, what do you think? And I said, I think that's the West. And I think that's a really important photo. And she said, well, I printed out in 3 different sizes. And I said, go big or go home. Just give me your biggest size. And boy, that photo, man, that, it was interesting because it created a lot of conversation in the show. It definitely made people mad, but then it made other people really want to have this conversation about what it's like to, try and coexist in the West and where your food comes from. And, and it was kind of this great thing about the photo that Laura and I really talked about. This isn't a statement about, you should or shouldn't, or, we belong here, we don't belong here. It's not, it just is. It's just a part of the West. And so I really enjoyed it for that, just to kind of walk anonymously through the show and listen to people talk, which I do every year. It's just such a favorite thing of mine, just to not wear anything descriptive and just listen to people talk about the art. But that, that photo, somebody even said, somebody said to my volunteers, well, do you think Rose knew what that was? And I'm like, what planet? That's my job. Yeah. Yeah. Everything in here is intentional, so, but that was a good controversy, I think. And I don't know if it's really a controversy, but it was good to talk about. I don't know.
Well, I think it is a controversy in the West for sure.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
What I love about all these stories, because you've been doing this for a while, and I got to, me and my friend that was there with me, I'll give a shout out to Bruce Morton, who listens to our podcast all the time.
Hey, Bruce.
Hey, Bruce. He'll appreciate that, I think. We got to tag along on a little tour that you were giving that day. And I always love hearing these stories. And every time I've tagged along on one of these tours, I hear something different. I hear some stuff that I've heard before, but I always hear something different that, it just, you're doing it off the cuff and you're so good about it. And it's very engaging. I was watching all the people. It was a group of people from the Denver Art Museum, correct?
Oh, docents. Yeah.
Yeah. Docents from the Denver Art Museum, from the Western collection, right?
Right. Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They were totally enamored by these stories that you were telling and the art, of course, that, that you were showing and highlighting different things in this year's exhibit. It was really fun.
Well, and you know what? I think the thing that has been my theme this year, this sort of talking point theme that, it's kind of accidental in some ways, the way the art comes together and then what's that main theme to talk about. But it's really that the women bring it. this year. The women in the show are so strong. And I have a couple theories about it. Do you want to hear?
Yeah. Let's hear your theories.
Sure.
You want to hear my story as well?
I want to hear you. Yeah, I want to hear it.
Okay, I'm going to tell you. So my theory is theories. One is that, women, a lot of the women in the show have kids too. And a number of them had another career before kids. And then they had kids and they, the first, when you have kids, like the first 4 or 5 years, especially for mom, you're grounded, you're really there raising kids, and then you get them off to school. And I know from talking to a number of these female artists that when their kids got to be, in elementary and middle school, they started doing a lot of art projects with them. And it sparked that desire to get back to creating art for themselves. But the interesting thing is, I think when they got back to creating art with their kids, it was with colored pencils and crayons and scratchboard and clay and all these different kid-friendly things, mediums, right? And so in the Coors show this year, there's colored pencil, there's clay, scratchboard. There's just all of these different, like there are artists who work in traditional mediums, but they're using really unusual tools to get there with it, just completely experimenting, which gets me to my second theory on why women are really so strong this year and why they've been really coming on strong is because I think nobody's watching. Do you know, it's like they're not in the spotlight. So like, well, if no one's watching me, I'm just going to mess around with colored pencils because I really like it. I had so much fun with my kids, or I'm just going to stick with clay or, scratchboard. The scratchboard artist we have in the show this year, Sally Maxwell, she's been doing scratchboard for over 40 years. So when she started, there weren't good substrates, there weren't good materials, tools to do scratchboard techniques. So Sally Maxwell, when you see scratchboard, people are doing that medium and using the substrates and the products and tools that Sally designed and brought to the market, just simply because they didn't exist. So that's what I mean about these women. Yeah, that's Sally. There's a painting. If you can find it, it's called Shoe Fly. It's the bear. See the bear?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Click on that.
Shoe Fly. Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember this. This is extraordinary.
It's incredible. It's 38 square. It's a big painting. So the other thing about this, and Sally's not alone in the conversation that she's bringing as well to the show. And for Sally, she struggles with anxiety. Her daughter struggles with depression. There's a lot of sort of mental health issues that, she struggles with. And the scratchboard, a lot of them are in a way sort of self-portraits, but she's a wildlife artist. So, this one is like being in a bear of a day, and the mood is just really heavy and everything is kind of nagging at you and descending on you, and you just kind of keep moving through it. So I love that the women in the show are really going there with it, with their art, having these conversations that we need to have, and they're just really not afraid of doing it. Yeah. So Sally's one of those artists for us. Megan Sider is working with the colored pencil, and those are just phenomenal. Like, most people look at them and they think they're maybe photographs or watercolor paintings or something, but they're just gorgeous. And of course, Sophie Brown She's just a hero for me. She's so magnificent. But yeah, really strong women in the show. Just so inventive, so amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, a
Sophie's.
lit fuse and count to 10. This is a great piece here.
Yeah. And you know what? Did you notice that color, that wall, that lilac colored wall?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I always every other year I pick a new color for the wall. One of the walls or the main wall, or I just do something to change it up. And so I picked that color, and it's so, oh my gosh, it actually kind of scared me a little bit when I walked in before there was any art, because I'm like, oh no, I really blew it this time. It was just too electric. I thought, oh gosh, it's going to fight with everything. And, but we put that big painting right there, a lit fuse. We set that against the wall. And from that point forward, my crew and I, we laid out everything, the entire show around that painting on that wall. It was just amazing. Oh, wow.
It's so striking.
Look at that.
And there's so much motion
Yeah.
being captured in this piece.
Oh, and there's spray paint all over it and just thrown paint at it. And yeah. Yeah. Sophie's amazing. So yeah, I mean, the women are so strong in the show. And they're having fun. Like Nancy Bass is just, she's cows at the museum. Like I love that at the museum after Wayne Thiebaud with the ice cream cones. Oh my gosh. So much fun.
Not really.
Yeah. They just crack me up. But yeah, I mean, I think, the idea, part of the idea or part of what I'm working on when I'm curating the show is that in a sense, I feel like I'm hiring people to do what they do. Like I don't want to hire somebody who is an abstract painter and say, "Hey, I love what you do. Can you paint some cows for me?" Because that's not fair. That's not what they do, But I feel like what I'm doing is just putting together sort of a chorus or a symphony of voices. And each voice has its own section it has to take care of. Its own melody, its through line, or whatever harmony. It needs to do something in the show. And so when I think a show really feels good, it's when you walk through, when people who don't really know anything about art, they just enjoy it, but they don't study it. They don't live and breathe it. But when those people walk through and they're not confused by, oh, is this still Nancy Bass's work? Or is this Carmel Timmons' work? Or, you don't get confused because every artist really stands out for him or herself. That's when I think it's really sounding beautiful in the gallery.
Is there more women in the show this year than there has been previous? Do you know what the percentage is from?
I should count that. Todd. And I don't know. I wonder if we're at 50-50 though, because I'll have to count it up. I don't know.
It seemed like there was, a lot of women in the show this year, and not that there isn't every year, but it seemed like it was a good balance of work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, you know what? It's interesting because, let's see, almost 20 years ago, I did a show. Well, not quite 20. So 15 years ago, I did a show that traveled, and it was landscape artists. And I had historic landscape artists from like pre-World War II. And then I jumped ahead to contemporary landscape. And there were so few women in that show. It was almost all men, especially I think pre-World World War II, there was, I think, 2 women in the entire show. And, when a reporter asked me about it, like, she kind of was getting after me about, why don't you have a balance of women in the show? And I'm like, well, the historic side of this show, there simply weren't women. Yeah, there were women painting, but to go paint a landscape, you had to have a group of men around you to go do that. You could not go unchaperoned, and so it's like I tell people, like, do you wonder why Mary Cassatt paints women and children in bathtubs and mothers with babies? That's what she was allowed to paint. That's, because she had to be chaperoned if she wanted to go out. So she painted the subject matter around her. So I would say since that show, and it just keeps getting stronger, that women are really coming out, just holding their own and taking control of the conversation they want to have, especially in the West. And I think that's a pretty great thing. I'm really excited about it. So it's been good. It's a good show.
This year is a significant year for the Coors Western art exhibit and sale. Talk about that.
Yeah, it's the 30th. It's my 27th. Because, I'm a child prodigy. I started when I was 5.
That's what we heard.
That's true. It's very true. Yeah, 30 years. 30 years. It sounds weird. You know what? Like when you guys are doing something for so long, and you go back and you kind of count and you have to recount because it doesn't sound right. That's what 30 years sounds like to me. It doesn't sound right. It's amazing. But it's cool.
Since this is an anniversary year, is there anything different or special that you're doing this year for the anniversary?
Well, I wish there were. Maybe we should get cake. I love cake. Let's get cake. No, we're not really. Yeah, not really. Why? What? You feel like you're angling towards something.
No. I was just curious because I did know it was the 30th anniversary, but I was thinking to myself, I wonder if there's something different that they do on something like the 30th anniversary or an anniversary year. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, all the art is free. Forgot about that.
Now we're gonna have to. You better say the disclaimer right now because everybody's gonna show up and want to.
Yeah, the disclaimer is that's a lie. Full of shit. No, you know what? We've done some fun things. Like we did some puzzles from Liberty Puzzles. Do you know Liberty Puzzles in Boulder? They're the coolest puzzles. You got to Google them. So they do these wooden puzzles, and like we used Teresa Elliott's featured art piece and Sophie Brown's featured art piece. And they both gave us their blessing, and we had Liberty make puzzles. And these puzzles are so cool because each piece is like its own little character. They're not just like random cutouts. They're like, there's like cowboys and stars and horses, and you got to fit all that together in your puzzle. They're really cool. They're really amazing. And they smell good. They smell good.
And people can purchase these?
I think we sold them out.
Oh, really? Already? Wow.
Yeah. But I gotta add, like, I think that should be a regular thing because they're really beautiful puzzles. I wish I bought more.
I love that idea. And, because really outside of something like that, if you're not going to purchase a piece of art, the big thing is the poster from each year, right?
Yeah, exactly.
People actually collect these things every year.
Oh, they do, right? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Dan Chen is our featured artist this year. I love Dan. So we have a sculptor this year. So I always tell people, like, because they ask, well, how do you pick it? And so I've got this amazing advisory committee, and they're, doctors and lawyers and bankers and just whatever, and basically have way better things to do than sit in a meeting for the Coors show. But they love it, and they're really amazing. They're awesome people. And so one of the perks is you get to pick who the featured artist is going to be. So I give my committee a short list, and the list is like say we have a representational landscape artist, 1 year. The next year, I want to get out of the box and have something that's sort of pushing boundaries, or maybe is getting a little more towards a contemporary or even abstract kind of side in the art world. Or like we hadn't had a sculptor in a long time. So actually it was funny because I didn't even have a chance to put a bunch of names forward. I just made that comment. We haven't had a sculptor. And everybody just jumped on it. They're like, Dan Chen, we love Dan's work. So he gave us 3 pieces, and then we just put it to vote. And this is the one that everybody wanted. So Dan's incredible because he does everything. He does sculpture, so the bronze work. He does the patina work. He does woodworking. He does the painting. So that's a painting on vellum. So kind of essentially stretched cow hide, or the skin, I guess. And he does glass work and stained glass, and oh my God. And so the featured artist gets to bring in as many pieces as they want. And he has just this incredible body of work that we have this year for people when they come to the show. But yeah, so this is our piece, and this is going to be the poster, which is kind of a challenge, to make a poster out of a sculpture, but I think it looks pretty good. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's great to see it in person, and I think this is just a fantastic piece. It's called Gaze and Graze. Talk a little bit about what's going on with this piece, and then talk a little bit about who Dan Chen is, and like where he's from and where he lives and that sort of thing.
Yeah, well, so Dan is from China originally. He came to the U.S. in his 20s. He's one of the most upbeat, positive people, and he has been through the ringer in life, and he just looks at life in the most positive way. And his work, actually, the thing that attracted me to his work when I saw it years ago at a wildlife show was his sense of humor. He's got this just really wry sense of humor. And he's just always kind of laughing, and just brings that joy to everything he does. So this piece in particular, Gaze and Graze, it shows off. It's kind of Dan showing off in a way, in a really good way, because he can do anything, with art. He's so multi-talented, and he's just a cut above, like there's a piece that is, it's that bison piece that he has in the show and a chessboard. He has a chess set. And this is the barnyard brawl, basically. There's like the 4-legged against the 2, like the fowl, the birds. It's amazing.
It's a beautiful piece. And if you're a chess lover, you'll love this piece.
Oh my God. It is really cool, isn't it? I want a chess set. I don't know how to play chess, but I think that's so cool. I think it would make me look smart too if I had that in my house, don't you?
Heck yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, why don't you purchase this piece and then we'll play chess. I'll teach you how to play chess.
I knew you were going to say that, Todd. I just knew it.
Why? Did he try to teach you? And
No. I'm not taking that bet. No, he likes chess. So I knew he would say he'd teach you.
Wow. Are you also a World of Warcraft person? Secretly?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I'm not a game.
Okay.
I play 2 games. I play Words with Friends, and I play chess.
Wait, why don't we play Words with Friends?
We tried to do this once, and
what happened?
I don't know. I don't know. For whatever reason, the invite
Huh.
or however you set that up never came through. But I would love to play Words with Friends with you. I love that
Okay,
game.
we'll do that. We'll do that. And we'll stay friends.
Well,
It'll
you're
be good.
smarter than I am, so I don't care if I take a beating. If you can,
No, you
you
know
know,
what? Here's why I do so well at Words with Friends, because I don't know how to spell.
really?
hmm I'm really bad. I blame my teacher. Well, of course, it's not my fault. I blame learning to spell with phonics because I sound everything out. That was like phonics. So yeah, no, I'm terrible at spelling. I have to really work at it. Like I keep a notebook of words. But
I,
anyway, but when you're terrible at spelling, you just throw stuff on the Words with Friends board. It's like, wow, that's a word. Wow. Okay, let's play it. Yeah, it happens
I
all the
think that's
time.
always interesting because I have other friends of mine that are writers too, and a handful of you guys are not great spellers, or so you say. Or I've
Yeah.
experienced it firsthand with one of my friends that's a writer, and
Wow.
I'm like, wow, like you write you write some really phenomenal like pieces and articles and stuff, but I had no
Yeah.
idea that you didn't know how to spell.
Yeah. No, it's hard. It's a struggle for me. And you know what? I think like I haven't listened to these courses on word etymologies and stuff like that to try and help me figure it out. But yeah, it just for whatever reason, spelling is tough. Anyway, okay, so I wanted you to look at that bison one,
Prairie
Prairie
Sentinel.
Sentinel.
Oh yes, yes, yes. Oh my God.
Yeah. So that piece is like that bison is standing on this beautiful block of wood behind that lucite. It's a lucite panel in front. It's what, like a 3/4 inch thick, or and Dan etched the buffalo into the lucite. So when you plug it in from below, there's a light that comes up through that piece of lucite and shines on the etching. It's incredible. It's like, isn't that crazy? I mean, what he thinks of
The
is,
detail. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Just the way
yeah.
people's minds work, which is one of the
Mhm.
things I really love about doing this podcast and talking with different artists, is listening to how people like come up with certain things is just amazing to me.
Yeah. I know, right?
Well, I like the fact that he's not stuck to one thing, that he's trying different things.
Oh, yeah. Like anything he gets his hands on, he's like, oh, I bet I can make art out of this.
Yeah.
I was just reading this thing about him, that his mom tells the story that when he was a kid, he started doing paintings. He was drawing and taking art classes, and he wanted to paint peacocks, but they didn't have peacocks where he was. And so he found out where he could go see peacocks, but it was like I don't know, 2-hour train ride or something away from their home. And he saved his money from wherever he was working. Like he was like 15, 14 at the time, saved his money, bought a train ticket, just took the train there to go see peacocks, and he did some drawings. And then he had a little money left over to buy lunch. But he walked by an art supply store and he saw this brush that he really wanted. So he bought a brush instead of food and got back on the train and came home. That's like how just dedicated he is to, you know?
It's a great
He
story.
yeah, he's that guy. He's he's just a beautiful spirit. He's a wonderful human.
And what's
Yeah.
nice about talking with you about this exhibit, and then people go look at this work. Hopefully, a lot of this will sell, like we've talked about. But I mean, when you hear these stories, it takes on a whole other dimension.
Yeah.
When you're
Yeah.
looking at the work, when you kind of hear a little bit about what the artist is either thinking or where they're from. Um, yeah, I
Yeah.
was mesmerized by Dan's work for sure.
Yeah. They're
What
amazing.
what else are you excited about in this year's show? Like who's new that you're excited about, or whose work outside of all these, the women artists that you've been talking about? What is exciting to you?
So this is the first year that I have a furniture maker in the show. I'm looking at all these names and my brain is clicking through. Robert
Seliger, right?
Thank you. Yeah. Aren't those amazing? There's not a nail in those pieces of furniture. They're all with the old traditional joinery. They're unbelievable. Like that war vest. See the war vest one at the bottom? When I was talking to him, I said, I hadn't seen it in person yet. But I said, I love the beadwork on this. And he's like, yeah, that's not beadwork. Those drawer faces are carved out of one solid piece of wood. All of that is carved and painted. It's amazing. Just the hand carving and the perfection of them, and just to run your hand over that wood. Every single detail in these pieces is just gorgeous. And I don't know if you can see on the top, but they're obsidian arrowheads. And that figures into some of his work. But they are just absolute masterpieces.
And you said this is the first time that you've had a furniture maker in the show?
Yeah. Yeah, because, usually we get like antiques or something. And I've just, I don't know, been having a tough time getting antiques. So I think like last year we didn't really have anything. We just had some chairs and benches people could sit on. But we have this, if people want to apply to the show, we use Cafe, and he applied to the show, and I was just so blown away. So, but I had to have a long conversation with him about it, because like he's in Bend, Oregon, and it's not cheap getting this out to Denver, and these are just completely one of a kind works of art. So they've got to be really well boxed and crated and they're heavy. So, but he was up for it. And so far, my audience, just everybody who comes through is in awe of what he does. They're just gorgeous.
This piece, and you pointed this out when we were on the tour, it's absolutely stunning. And I think it's just so cool that you have Robert in the show this year. I mean,
yeah.
Again, part of, this ongoing vision of what you would like people to see and how it evolves each year, right?
Yeah. Well, exactly, right. And there's another piece in there that Robert and Dan they're friends, and they worked on a piece together. It's that joy-free piece. Yeah. So they both they started talking about doing something together. And I think Robert had an idea for this round table, like a end table kind of thing. And Dan then came up with this idea of these otters. And when they were talking about it, and Dan said, I'm thinking of these otters, kind of how they play and turn. And Robert was telling me, he's like, that's not what I was thinking at all. But well, we said we'd collaborate. So he kind of let Dan do Dan's thing, and he did his thing. And he just is in love with this piece, which I am too. It's just, what a great work of art. And collaborating is amazing. That's an interesting thing that's been happening with some of the artists in the Coors show, is that they're meeting up and collaborating, like Stephanie Hartshorn, Jill Sokup, Amy Lageson, and Sophie Brown meet up on this ranch land in southern Colorado, and they have been making art together and just staying there, for a few days at a time, I guess, at the ranch house, and just making found art sculptures and yeah, each of them brings a different thing to it, to the making of a work of art. And they're all really loving learning from each other. So this to me is such a phenomenal piece because, art can be really something that you're just doing by yourself all the time. And, maybe you go out and have cocktails with friends, but to actually rely on somebody else to do their end of a work of art, that takes it to a different level, I think.
Tenet wants to acknowledge our media sponsor, New Magazine. That's NUE. You can follow both the national and the Denver edition of New Magazine on Instagram. The national edition can be found at new_magazine and the Denver edition at new_Denver_magazine. And I want to share with you something very exciting. Check out the newly launched New Denver Gallery Guide. Look for the signage that says New Denver Gallery Guide that has a QR code. Scan it with your phone, and you have instant access to a comprehensive digital guide to Denver's finest galleries and exhibitions. Find this QR code in your favorite gallery, hotel, or coffee shop as you visit and explore Denver. Thanks for listening.
This is Rose Fredrick, and you are listening to the Tenet Podcast.
You mentioned all these artists that have been getting together on the ranch and collaborating, and that would be pretty fun to witness and experience, I would think. Outside of this piece between Robert and Dan, are there any other collaborative pieces in the show this year?
No, there aren't. Though I think it is kind of fun to look at artists who I know influence each other, but you wouldn't see it on the surface of their work. And so Kwang Ho and his wife, Adrienne Stein, their work is very different and their personalities are really different too. Though they're both really upbeat, positive people and have a lot of energy. And they have their studios right next to each other, but their work still holds its own. Yeah, there's Adrienne's. And
she's new this year to the show.
She's brand new to the show. And Adrienne is from Pennsylvania, and she mostly does kind of figurative work with a lot of the florals and sort of this mystical aspect to them. And so since she's married Kwang, she spends more time in the West. And this, something I just adore about this is that she's allowed the West to seep into her work. I remember a couple years ago, Kwang surreptitiously took some photos of these little studies and texted them to me and said, "You got to see what Adrienne's doing." And I was head over heels. And so I called her and asked her, if she would do the show. And she just doesn't paint fast. So she couldn't do it right then, but was able to commit to this year. And wow, oh my gosh, so gorgeous, so wonderful. But that's, here's an East Coast person who's spending concentrated time in the West, and it's working on her mind and coming through in her creativity. So I always tell people, if they don't know who Adrienne is or they're unfamiliar with her work, I always say, think Georgia O'Keeffe if she were ever in a good mood. Yeah.
So why do you feel Georgia O'Keeffe was never in a good mood? That's interesting. I've heard that statement before.
She famously wasn't.
Oh.
Yeah. She kind of famously
I never got that feel from her.
You didn't? Did you, like when you guys were having coffee in the morning, it was cool? She was all
right?
She
was cool with me.
Yeah.
She was never moody.
She was a little moody with me. Kind of standoffish. It felt like a little competition, but I'm not sure. I don't know.
And when I first saw Adrienne's work, I felt Georgia O'Keeffe coming through.
Right. You do, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very vibrant and it hits you right between the eyes. When you walk, I love where you positioned her work. And so when you walk in the gallery, you can't help but immediately be just drawn to that section of the gallery. You walk in
Yeah.
the door, you look to your left, and boom, you know, I bet it sells. So, it's stunning.
It is. It really
But I
is.
hope everybody gets to see it,
Yeah.
I really do. You definitely have to go to the Coors website and check it out just in case it does sell before you get an opportunity to see it at the stock show, or if you're not going to make it to the red carpet event.
Yeah.
I'm just going to mention that right now. CoorsWesternArt.com is where you can see all these artists and the artwork that they have in the exhibition. Yeah, this piece that I have up now is called Arc, and I just fell in love with it immediately. But every single one of these pieces that she has in the show is just amazing.
Yeah. They kind of are breathtaking.
They really are.
Really.
I mean, there's
Yeah.
a lot of color from different artists as far as like the vibrancy, but
Yeah.
there's something that just draws you in with this work for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, really. Yeah. So, we do sell out a number of artists on our opening night, but I always keep at least one piece from everyone. So it's not like you're going to completely miss them. You just won't get to see everything. There's 350, 360 works of art, and that'll be cut in half.
So how does that work? Like some people that purchase a piece, do you just approach them and say, hey, I really would like to keep that through the stock show so that people can see the work?
Yeah. Well, the artist can have up to 6 pieces in the show, and 3 are generally your normal studio size work. Within reason, because I've had artists in the past who paint like 40 by 80. I can take one of those. But then the other 3 pieces are, miniatures or small, like 9 by 12, which I know isn't miniature, but for a lot of artists, it's incredibly small. So, and those small pieces on opening night, those are sold through a silent auction process. And every one of those pieces that sells, once it sells, it's pulled off the walls and goes. And I've got this amazing crew of volunteers, and they wrap everything and get it ready for when our patrons head home, and then they just get to walk out the door with all that work. And then mostly what I do with the big things is I have to make arrangements with people, because like this painting's 30 by 24, but that other painting Arc is much bigger, and so it's not something you can put under your arm and head out the door with. So it's 48 square, and then the frame, it's probably almost 60 inches square. 58
54
inches
by
square.
54. Yeah.
Yeah, but with the frame. Oh yeah, there you go. 54
frame size
square.
is 54 by 54.
Yeah. So it's big. And kind of heavy. So yeah, it's something that, so we open Wednesday, and then Thursday, let me see, Tuesday, we open, then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is a total rehang of the show. And those days I'm working with clients to try and get some of the big pieces out to them so I can fit everybody back into the gallery. But I think I need a nap now. I'm feeling really tired thinking about rehanging that show.
Who else are you excited about this year?
Oh my God.
I mean, obviously you love all this because it's in the show, but is there anybody that sticks in your mind that you're like, oh my gosh, that just resonates with me? I just like what they brought to the show this year.
You know what? Okay. So there's a painting that I actually kind of covet in here, and it's Andy Evenson. If you click on him, you got to go back up. Yep, there you go. And it is called Reading in the Tent.
I knew you were going to say that once I started looking at all of them. Yeah, I just was like, I bet she's going to pick that one.
Look at that painting. That's watercolor.
Wow.
Yeah. So watercolor, you have to not paint the white parts. Like it's just to think that, I don't know, Andy is so good. But that painting, I don't know, it just like being outdoors, camping, there's kayaks, and then just reading in the tent. I love that. That's like it's just sort of a, when people ask me what's my favorite, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to tell you because it's going to be stupid, like and kind of because art, my favorite is really personal in a way. And that one just strikes me like reading in the tent that just hits every note for me. Like I love the image, but I love the thought of, I don't know, for some reason, like when I look at this, my mind wanders into the tent. Like I'm there, after a long day on kayaks and just unwinding, the smell of a campfire. And yeah, I just adore this painting. So anyway, it's kind of funny.
I love that.
Who else is Ezra Tucker? Do you remember Ezra's?
Yes, you were talking about it on the tour, and I definitely wanted you to talk about Ezra's work while we're on doing this interview tonight. So let's talk about Ezra Tucker, and he has an interesting story. So please tell.
Oh my gosh. So Ezra is African American, and he worked at Hallmark Cards right out of college. So I think this was late 70s, early 80s. And I did an article about him and Dean Mitchell and another artist who had a show down in Colorado Springs at the Broadmoor. And Ezra lives in the Springs. Anyway, Ezra, so I interviewed him, and I've known Dean Mitchell for like 30 years, another African American artist, just a real and just incredible master painter, watercolorist. He also worked at Hallmark briefly, but in talking to Ezra, about that experience and being an illustrator, he was recruited out of college, and he gets to Hallmark, and he was flat out told, you are the token Black man in this world because affirmative action. So he just got to work, and he did really good work. And then the next thing he was told is, you're making us look bad. You got to slow down, man, making us look bad. They wanted him to do a series of greeting cards for, the Black population for Hallmark. But he said what they wanted him to do and how they wanted him to do it wasn't authentic. It wasn't real. It wasn't how Black people lived or talked to each other, and he said, well, here's how I want to do it. And they said, no, we don't like that. You got to do it our way. And he said, well, I'd rather not do it at all. And so he went back to doing different kinds of cards, mostly like cards with wildlife, which is his favorite thing in the world to do, is wildlife. And I've known Ezra for a while, but it's interesting because here we are on this Coors Western art exhibit, and we don't sell wildlife, really. It always surprises me. I've had some just world-class wildlife artists, and it's just really more of a tough sell for whatever reason. But Ezra reached out to me, and he said he's been working on a series of paintings about the Black experience in the West and these stories. And this particular painting you have up about Bass Reeves, U.S. Marshal. So Bass Reeves was one of the first Black U.S. Marshals in the West, and he was the first Black man to arrest a white man. And so that's what Ezra's depicting here. And he had heard about Bass Reeves when he was growing up, because he was really well known, in the Black community, but not as well known in the overall Western community. So I'm just thrilled to have Ezra in the show, and I'm so pleased that honestly, I'm honored to have this work in here and that he wanted to give it to us to show. So this is I think a really great road that he's going down to talk about the Black experience in the West. And he's such an incredible painter. So here he is doing this. The canvases are beautiful. Everything about him is beautiful. But then it's this whole story. He's a storyteller, really. It's phenomenal work. And I'm glad that he has venues like ours to show this work in, and that my audience can be exposed to it and ask questions, because really the Black experience in the West is not well known at all.
Yeah, I really enjoyed looking at his work, and then you telling his his backstory once again becomes even more powerful, and he has some wildlife pieces in here too, but you're giving everybody the opportunity to have their narrative in the Coors show, which is fantastic.
Well, and I always tell people that we don't have historical work in the show generally. It's just not, we're not the venue for it. We're a show that's talking about what's happening in the West today. And so when Ezra brought this work to me to talk about it, I was like, all right, this is important. And this is different. And it's not a white guy painting, hey, I researched these Black people in the West. This is Ezra, who's known about this and has researched this since he was young. So this painting that you've selected now, the Chisholm Trail Moonlight, a woman, when we were walking through the show, came up to me and she said her grandfather rode the Chisholm Trail. And she said, they rode white horses at night so they could see each other, because these guys on the Chisholm Trail were guarding the cattle from predators and poachers. So they had to identify each other. So they rode white horses. But yeah, I mean, this is just so much fun to see this work, and it's stunning. It just pulls you in, doesn't it?
It really does.
Yeah. Yeah. He's magnificent. So yeah, I'm very excited about having Ezra in the show. And who else is new? God, we've got some really great new artists this year.
You have some great artists just as a whole, but yeah, anybody else that's new to the show that you want to talk about?
People ask how to get into the show, because it's hard to get into the show. But I do try out artists because I have that space in the club on the second floor. And so I have 17 artists this year, but my goal is to, see how my audience reacts to their work. And if my audience doesn't pick up on it, I always tell people it's not that the work is bad. It's just I don't have an audience for it. And we can keep trying, but if I don't have an audience, it's kind of a waste of time. But and looking over our list of artists, like David Camerzell, he started in the Young Guns show, in the club show, and I moved him into the Coors show. Luke Anderson has moved into the Coors show. So Maeve Eichelberger, it's just a bunch of artists that it was great to see the audience react to them, and to have them take off and do well, and now I see their work in other shows and galleries all over the place. It's pretty wonderful. So, hey, David Grossman.
Oh, I was hoping you were going to mention David. And if you didn't, I was going to, because I love this guy's work. It is just, I don't know. it's some of my favorite stuff. I mean, I have a lot of favorites, but I mean, if I had to pick one, it might be David Grossman. There's something just serene, and I don't know. I can't put my finger on it, but I really enjoy his work.
Evening Lake is his best piece there, I think.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, you have to come out and see, Wes. You got to come out to the show because you just get like the full, just surround yourself with the work. But okay, so do you see like in the bottom left corner almost, there's like, I keep saying mergansers, but they're like ducks or something. And then there's ducks flying in. So during COVID, David and his wife, Christy, and they had a baby and they moved to Grand Junction. And so where they live and where David has his studio is migratory patterns happen above them. It's just a big migration route for birds. And David really got into watching the migrations and studying it and learning more and more about these birds. And it just whenever he's needs a break or he just goes outside and watches the birds. And so as he was creating this latest body of work over the last couple of years, something that he learned was that during COVID, bird songs got softer. It's like they weren't competing with us. So they got softer. It was really cool. So all his paintings in the show have birds in them and through them. And there's that one painting, the big one when you walk in. Yeah, that's the one.
This is pretty fantastic.
It's
I really love this piece.
Oh my God. It's called Reaching. I think it's 40 by 60. It's a big painting. And in the sky, on your computer screen, you can see it looks like a lot of thick texture, which is different for David. And it is. It just almost has that Van Gogh sensibility about it, But this painting is okay. So for me, and I think I may have said this when you were on that tour, Todd, but like as a mom and my boys went off to college this year, I feel like this tree is the mother, and the birds fly away, they nest and they fly away and the leaves drift off. And then it's just there. It's always there, on the migration route, and it's just always there bringing life. I just love this painting so very much. It's magnificent.
It is magnificent. And if you look at it on your computer screen at home, you might think, oh, the photograph is maybe a little soft. Like it's actually the way this is painted, and you get the sense of movement by the way he's painted his strokes. So what you're seeing on your screen is actually a real representation. You kind of have that sense of the leaves moving and the motion of the leaves falling off the tree.
You do. It's one that I knew where I was going to hang it right away. I knew when I saw it, and I knew I wanted it to be one where you walk around a corner and you glance in and you're like, oh my gosh. And it just pulls you in. It brings you right to it. It's so magnificent. Oh, I love that painting. Yeah, all his work. Yeah, his work is just really great. Yeah, I don't know. Guy, I should ask you, what besides David stands out to you?
You hit a lot of them, Ezra's work, David's work, Adrian's work. Oh my gosh. I mean, there's just so much good stuff. I mean, really, it's so spectacular. All the shows every year, they're fantastic. But this one, I feel like for the 30th anniversary, you have definitely hit it out of the park. And the artists,
I painted it all myself.
Yeah. Good job.
Hard. Yeah. No,
I can imagine how much time it must have taken. You must never sleep.
No, I'm kind of fast though too. I'm a fast painter. No, you know what? Okay, seriously, like I like I think that this show is more than just a show for the artists in that like I think we're more family, you know. We do you know what I mean? Like I mean I think you show up for family.
It has that feel to it. I will say that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think all the artists that you have, I mean, it's just first class all the way. All the way.
Yeah. It's
Um we'll talk about one more artist, and I just remembered it. And I doggone it, I lost his name. But he's the guy that carves the feathers.
oh, Chris Maynard.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is something extraordinary. And it's one of those things where I don't think you get it without hearing kind of what he does and the story behind
Mhm.
it. I mean, you can appreciate it, but I don't think most people look at it and go, oh, that's really cool, but without much thought in what goes into it, without hearing that.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, so
so
he
talk about his process.
yeah, well, so as a kid, he was enamored with birds, loved birds, wished he could fly, all of that, right? He's such a fascinating person. He figured out how to seal these feathers because feathers are basically hair. You know, if you try to cut a pattern in your hair, it's just gonna fall away. So he seals them. All the feathers he uses are naturally harvested, so they're from bird sanctuaries, and birds molt their feathers, and so you can buy them legally, which is what he does. And so with the feathers, he carves these images and these concepts and thoughts out of them. Like there's this one where there's an eagle swooping down, Todd. That one I think is a great one because then you can sort of see it's the middle one. Yeah, that one.
Eagle and the Rabbits.
Yeah. So that's that feather. This is what he does with his work. And when you go to the website and if you look at the title, it'll tell you what kind of feathers these are. And he does all of this out of maybe two feathers, but he uses the positive and the negative space. But just look at all that he thought through with that piece. It just blows my mind. And the feathers have all these different markings and colorations on them. So he will look at the feathers for a long time until the idea comes to him. He also lives in the Northwest and he's kind of surrounded by this marshy land. And so he watches the birds and he sees the frogs and all the other critters that live around him. And that inspires his work, a lot of what he does. The other thing about Chris that I think is so interesting to me anyway, is that he has a dance floor in his studio and he loves to dance. Like he just, he loves to move his body. And for me, I think there must be some connection with him moving his body and being able to feel the movement in the work he's doing, because it's precise, but he's got to feel it too. Like those rabbits just diving over each other. Oh, it's just crazy. And it's the tiniest detail too. When you see him in person, it's kind of mind blowing.
It is mind blowing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's fun when we hang them because you can play with the shadows too. Because they're kind of stuck on pins, so they lift off from the paper behind him, which is cool.
Yeah, you talked about it on the tour, how it was fun to light these pieces so that you kind of get the, even more of a sense of what was going on and the movement and stuff. I could see that.
They're really great. Yeah.
Hey, I want you to talk about the red carpet event that you have every year. Explain, A, if people want to participate. This happens
Mhm.
on January the 3rd, correct?
Yeah, Tuesday the 3rd. Yeah, you buy a ticket and it's I'll tell you what, it is the best food in town. It's like we just truly go all out for this. Prime rib and just I mean everything. It's a really a great night. So you definitely get your money's worth when you come. The people who come, that's the opportunity to buy. You can buy afterwards anything that doesn't sell. In fact, our website updates so you can see what's still for sale and you can just buy it. Say you came to a preview and couldn't come opening night, you can then go online and buy after opening night. But yeah, it's a real big fandango, just me and 750 of my bestest friends and all the artists, almost all the artists make it to the event. And it's from 5:30 to 9:30. And if you buy something, chances are pretty darn good you can walk out with it that night. So, yeah.
How much
And how
are
much
tickets?
Oh, I was just
How
going to
much
ask
are
the same question.
tickets? Are you sitting down? They start at 350. 350. And then so we sell tables too. So tables 3,500, 5,000, 10,000. So you can, if you want, you can if you know somebody who's going, ask them to bid for you. But also really do, I mean, check the website and see what's going on. And I mean, I've definitely had people from out of state say I can't make it and they buy a ticket to opening night and then I put someone on the art that they want to buy and they'll put their name in and they'll follow silent auction bidding and stuff like that. So we can take care of people if they can't make it. So yeah, but it's a pretty big deal.
Do you get a lot of dealers that come through that kind of are looking to see? She laughs.
Yep, we do indeed. Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
do you see artists getting picked up by a lot of other galleries and it's kind of
Yeah.
launching them in their
Yeah,
career?
for sure. Like, and I tell artists who, are new, really new, and don't have galleries. I just tell them before opening night, I say, look, you're going to be approached by dealers, especially if you sell, because that's kind of dealers want to know. In essence, I'm kind of doing the heavy lifting for them, so they can see, they're walking around to see how the audience is reacting and if they like the work. And if the audience likes it and they put their money down on it, then the artist gets. But like that night, people will start asking them to, if they want to take a look at their gallery. So yeah, a lot of artists get launched with the Coors show, which is nice. I love that. I always try and tell them, don't forget me. But some artists have gotten just too busy for the show. And I think that's great. I'll just keep finding new talent. Because I think that's something that we're really known for is, new, fresh talent and just get them launched out there. So it's fun.
What do you think the percentages of artists that drop off compared to the artists that you're adding?
Well, I switch out 12 to 14 artists out of 75 each year. And a lot of times, like the club artists, those, I'm trying to see what my audience does with that. If they react favorably and, if nothing sells, then I'll usually give the artist a call and say, okay, how are you feeling about this? Because, I only ask an artist to be in the show if I feel really confident we're going to sell his or her work. I don't want to waste anybody's time. And I've told artists, good artists, who are like, why have you never asked me to be in the show? I thought we were friends. I'm like, well, I hope we are friends, but I don't think I have an audience. So it kind of works against you. You know, if I don't have an audience, I put your work in the show, no one buys it. And then it's kind of like word on the street is, oh, yeah, his work doesn't sell. It's not good for anybody. So that's why I kind of have that conversation with artists, because just getting into a show with a name, you know, that only goes so far. If the work doesn't sell and you got into a show with a name in hopes that then you'd get picked up by galleries, but the gallerists who were there saw, oh, nobody likes it, so I'm not going to take a chance. It works against you, right? So, yeah. But yeah, a lot of artists get picked up. I see them in other shows, and it's really great. I really like that too, because I think there are in particular Western based shows or venues don't often take chances. So I think it's really great when, you know, someone like Luke Anderson, for example, or Maeve Eichelberger, who's working in plexiglass, you know, and is now suddenly in galleries everywhere and picked up in museums, you know, because people saw her at the Coors show. I love that. I feel like that's like, I'm doing my job, you know, because we're 16 days a year, you know. I don't own anybody, and I want them to succeed and be around next year. So
that's got to be a great feeling to see people, you know, succeed and people get turned on to their work. I would imagine that's a fantastic feeling.
You know what? It's kind of this, like, I feel like when I sell art, like I love selling art. It's just such a weird thing to love sales, but I love selling art. And I love it because it's almost like I bought it. Like I feel so excited for the person who bought it. I'm just so happy for them to get a great piece of art, you know, and to meet the artist. And it's just, I love it. And then I love it when they invite me over to see where they hung their art, because then I can go see how much wall space they have left over, can sell them more art. No, it's just really great, right? I mean, yeah, it's wonderful to live with art, I think.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not only is the Coors Western art exhibit and sale, not only is it a beautiful exhibition of fantastic art, it benefits the artist because you're all about the artist. But, and we've talked about this before, but talk about what this sale facilitates, this exhibition and sale facilitates.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay. So we're under the National Western 501c3. So we're nonprofit, and the proceeds from our sales, so we take 70% commission, or I mean, we take a 30% commission from the artist. The artist gets 70%, which is better than most galleries. And it's pretty much the standard for big national shows. Plus table sales and ticket sales and donations and sponsors and stuff like that. So proceeds from all of that go to the National Western Scholarship Trust. And the Scholarship Trust gives out 100 scholarships a year to kids who are going to school in Colorado and Wyoming. They're studying rural family health, medicine, animal husbandry, nursing, ag business, and veterinary science. And after college, they go back to their small communities to live and work. And so, like, I always love to tell people, we have been, for the last many, many, many years, the biggest contributor to the Scholarship Trust. So our show is literally keeping the West alive, I think. So that's what we're doing on the artist side. And I'm glad you brought that up, because on the artist side, you know, people ask, oh, is this all donated? And I'm like, God, no. This is what these artists, this is their living. I do not ask artists to donate work. I've had artists donate for the silent auction, which is fantastic. I really appreciate it. But I don't ask artists to donate work. And when artists call me and say, hey, so-and-so asked if I would do their benefit and donate. And I'm like, no, I mean, don't. Just set them straight. Tell them to take a commission and pay you what's fair. And you know what? If you want to support them and help them out, offer to sell tickets or bake a pie or, like I'm trying to get artists not to donate their livelihood. Like how many lawyers do you see say, oh yeah, I'll donate 30 hours to your silent auction? No. Insurance agents, I'm going to give away a policy to your silent auction. It doesn't happen, right? So I always tell artists, you always get picked on for this kind of stuff. And there's a misconception in the public that, well, how long did it take you? People ask that. How long did it take you? And artists ask me, like, well, what should I say? And I know, the flippant answer is, well, it took me 55 years to do it, or whatever. But the other answer is they answer honestly, well, this one came to me really quickly and I was able to complete it like in 3 hours and it just flowed. And I'm like, don't tell them anything. Just say, you know what, this is a lifetime. Every piece builds on the next one. It's your life's work. So don't give it away, and so I just kind of I hope I can empower artists to be kind about it, but, just say, look, I want to instruct you on how we can do this. Because the thing that people don't realize when they ask for donations is that the artist is going, oh God, yeah, I got something kicking around in here. Yeah, give them that. Right. And so they don't get the best work. We get the best work because, we put on a great show. We bring people in. We take a very reasonable commission. We staff it well. We have a website. We do all that kind of stuff, right? So artists really come through. But if you're asking artists for a donation, they're not going to give you something that they can sell for good money. The thing where artists get bit by that philosophy is that they go to a collector's home. They're like, oh, I bought this at the auction. And they're like, holy shit, that's where that ended up. Can I have that back, please? Like, don't put bad work out there. So don't donate your work. Donate your time, or your kids' time. Even better, donate your kids' time. I do that.
Or your kidney.
Or a kidney. Or a kidney. I would do that too. Actually, my kidneys are struggling. No one wants my kidneys. I might need a kidney. What blood type are you, Wes?
Oh, positive. I'm good to go for you.
That's a universal donor.
It is.
Universal donor.
That's right.
Oh, that's a good thing. I'm A positive.
Oh.
I'm A positive as well.
Oh, so I could get a kidney from both of you.
There you go. Just give us a call.
I will.
We could have two and we'll each have one.
That sounds really fair.
Mine's alcohol free too.
I can't
Mine's
say that.
Alcohol free. Oh man, mine's alcohol free too. Yeah, I'm on the wagon since I have kidney problems.
Yeah.
Which is nice. Not the kidney problems. Alcohol free. Are you seriously alcohol free, Wes? Is that why you're grumpy tonight?
I am. I'm alcohol free. I'm not drinking enough, as Don Henley would say.
Not drinking enough. Oh my God.
Speaking of your life's work, it was recently announced that you are the recipient of the 2023 Mary Belle Grant Award. Talk about what that is and what that meant to receive that honor and award.
Yeah, well, so Mary Belle Grant, when I started Mary Belle was a committee member, and she was just a pistol. She was like 5 feet tall and maybe. And her partner in crime, Harriet Kelly, boy, the two of them, they just took no shit from anybody, including those good old cowboys out there. And they just told you as it was. And anyway, I love both of them. And Mary Belle died. Actually, she went out. This is not a bad way to go out. She was at a dinner party, and the host was taking everybody on a tour of her art collection. And Mary Belle collapsed, and so she was on the floor. She opened her eyes and said, "What happened?" And she was gone. I'm like, wow, yeah. So anyway, when she passed, we all kind of got together and said, let's do something in her honor. And so we came up with this award, a Mary Belle Grant Award, which we have given out for the past, I don't know, 15 years, 20 years now, to someone who's made a big contribution to the arts in the art community and had an impact, on art world. And I was really shocked when they gave it to me because, well, one, I'm just doing my job and, I don't know, just doing my job. And so this poor committee member called me and she said, "Hey, I wanted to tell you." And the line just went silent. She's like, "So what do you think?" And I said, "So are you firing me? What the hell? Why are you giving me this award? There are so many people." I just rattled off all these people who should get the award. And she's like, no, it was unanimous. And I'm like, well, I got to think about this. I'm still waiting for them to fire me. They might. Yeah. So it was, no, it's a huge honor. It's just yeah, to be recognized for doing that. It's been really nice. And a lot of the artists have called and just, yeah. And my volunteer crew at the Coors show, one volunteer, she was really sweet. I saw her the other day and she's like, "We are so happy it's you. We feel like it's one of our own who got it." I was like, "Oh, I hadn't thought of it that way." Yeah, it was pretty nice. So yeah, it's a big honor. Yeah.
Nice.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks. Yeah. So that's all I got. What do you got going on, Wes?
Lots of craziness.
Yeah, you've been really quiet. I'm so sorry about your mom.
Thank you. Yeah. It's been a brutal month. November was a bitch. But my mom passing and my dad being in the hospital when my mom passed. So yeah, it's been pretty rough. But we're getting through it.
And your dad's with you now?
Yep. He moved in mom moved out on Thursday. He moved in on Friday. So
Wes.
Saga continues.
So Saint Tonette is still
she's running the show.
Her halo. Yeah.
She'll be sainted when she goes. That's for sure. Because she was with she was the one who was with my mom when she passed. She was holding her hand, telling, going through the list of people that love my mom. So
oh my God, Wes.
Can't go any better than that, right?
No.
Yeah.
No.
So
that's amazing. Wow. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, I don't know. I hope you can get away. Can you get away?
Yeah, we're definitely gonna try. So I mean, I might my plan is to be there on the 7th. So
yeah. Okay.
So we'll hopefully
yeah,
sneak in.
You're gonna have a talk in the gallery on the 7th.
Yes. That's
Are
the plan.
Artists what's the talk? It's gonna be a podcast, live podcast?
No, I think it's just gonna be an artist talk, right, Todd?
Yeah, just the three artists that we're featuring in this West by Midwest show.
Yeah. Where'd the title come from?
I was taking into account, we were taking into account the where they live and where they work and the environments that they paint. So Mark Zimmerman living in South Dakota, that's actually considered a
Oh, right.
Midwestern state, right? And then you got Megan and Shannon that live in Colorado, a Western
Mm.
state. But there's parts South Dakota being a Midwestern state. If you look at the topography, the geography, and all that, it really has more in common with its Western brethren, I feel, than
Mm.
its Midwestern states. I mean, you got the eastern side of South Dakota, but it's very diverse, and so that's how the title came about, West by Midwest.
Oh, nice. I always think of that Jimmy Stewart movie, North
So
by Northwest.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great movie.
Actually, yeah.
Also filmed in South Dakota, or parts of it.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Was it like around Mount Rushmore?
It
right?
was. It was, yeah.
Good old Hitchcock. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's a cool.
You didn't?
That's a cool little. No, I didn't know that. So, I mean, that kind of stuck in my head when we were kicking around names. So that's pretty cool, Wes, that you. I didn't know that fact.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, that is a good movie.
The old lodge there, the old restaurant is part of the movie, so that's pretty cool.
Is that still there?
No, they tore that down to make the new and improved monument. So
that's too bad.
It was a really cool. Yeah, there's something there. I mean, with the amount of people that are going there now, it made sense. But there was something really quaint about that old place that had been there forever. And the trails up to Mount Rushmore were more rustic, and not this, paved granite. But but the new places, can handle a lot more people.
Yeah.
They got a huge parking garage and all that. So it's great. In fact, I just drove by it on Saturday. Gave my nod to the presidents. Yeah.
Oh, nice. When I was up there, I wanted to go see that. What's the other one? The
Crazy Horse.
Crazy Horse.
Yeah.
It was all cloudy, so we
Yeah.
didn't go. The guy at the entrance was really nice. He's like, you can pay and come in, but you're not going to see anything. I'm like, thank you very much.
Yeah.
We'll head on down the road. Yeah. Good old South Dakotans.
Yeah. Yeah. Looking out for your best interests.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was probably from Wisconsin.
He probably was. That's what people from Wisconsin. We don't trust those South Dakotans. I just said that because you're on the show, because it's your show.
That's right.
I didn't really mean it.
I know that.
I meant it. I miss you guys.
Yeah.
Once a year, man. Good to see you. Yeah, hang in there, man.
Yeah, for sure. We're getting through it. So
yeah. When's your studio? You're gonna have a new studio?
Yeah, it'll be done by sometime in January. So
oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well,
and then Todd's in his. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, lots of change, huh?
Yeah, it's all good stuff. So
maybe the moon is in
retrograde,
Libra rising over Gemini to the third power.
Something like that. Yeah. I'll have to get my cards out.
Oh, read your tarot cards.
That's right.
That'd be a good idea.
I think Mercury's in retrograde. Whatever that means.
Todd, are you going to jump in or are you just going to let us? Because I'm going to start talking about Stephen King pretty soon.
No. I'll let you guys go at it with the whole Stephen King thing. Hey, I do want to ask you a question, get your take on this. We asked this question of Lindsay Bell, curatorial director of Bell Projects. How do you feel about these climate change protesters defacing art in museums around the world?
What's your take? Pisses me off. It actually has the opposite effect for me of what they're trying to do. It has the opposite effect. And, I was thinking about this the other day that, they are coming close to destroying some of our most important works of art, but our most important connections with our own history and our humanity to raise awareness of something that's important it's important to the planet, but also they're just so misguided. And the thing is, like, you're destroying stuff that's for the public. Why don't you, I don't know. I'm not going to give them any ideas. Like, to me, okay, we know your name, but I know your name for something really ugly and horrible that you're doing, because that art is there for everybody to go see. Like, our museums do something so important for us. They save our history. They present so much stuff, whether it's like the Louvre or Ripley's Believe It or Not, whatever, right? It's like, when you take that away from everybody to have the chance to do that, that's just so, it's cheap. I think it's a cheap stunt. That's what I think. Super glue your hand to a bus. I don't know. I think it's cheap.
That is a great visual. I love that. That should be a t-shirt. Super glue your hand to a bus.
Dumbass.
Dumbass. I was going to follow it up with something else, but your dumbass is more safe.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what did Lindsay say? Was she?
She thought it was okay.
Yeah. So she looked at it as partly performance art. So it was kind of an art. It's kind of a art event in itself.
Yeah.
She thinks that it's really important, and the fact that, if this all comes to a head and, we go extinct, then art's not going to matter anyway, because there's not going to be anybody around to appreciate it. So I thought that was an interesting take too. But
yeah,
I think Wes and I probably lean more on your side than her side, but it was interesting to get her take. I mean,
I think you were fair about it though, Todd. I was a little bit more appalled.
What
I am appalled by
Wes?
it.
You're appalled. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I said it should, if you're going to super glue your hands to the artwork, then maybe we should be able to do free for all for what we want to do, as performance art. I didn't say it that way, but maybe my performance art is plumbing you in the face while you're glued. It's just performance art. It's nothing, it's just an expression of my artistic. Right. It's just art. No. Anyway, not that I condone public violence, but it does. It just every time I see it, I'm just still appalled by it. I think there's other ways to do it,
Yeah, I just think it's really cheap. And I think too, honestly, like, I don't want to go down the whole path of, the politics behind it, but I think there's this whole wave of, we've got to stop doing this. We're gonna, and the reality is, like, okay, we all get electric cars, but those batteries are mounting up in trash heaps everywhere, and they
plus the raw materials. The raw materials those things are made of is just as bad, is limited as well. So
it's limited. We're destroying rainforests. You know what I heard? I heard this thing that they found, I don't think it was lithium, but they found some raw material at the bottom, the farthest, deepest depths of the ocean, where we can't even go. It'll just kill you to be that low. And because we can't go that low, what they're suggesting is they send ships out with these essentially like suction cups that just sort of vacuum the bottom of the ocean there.
Yeah.
What could possibly go wrong? They don't even know what lives down there, but we're just going to vacuum it up because we got to make more batteries for electric cars. That's all about us. Like what? Okay, so is anyone going to glue their hand to the Mona Lisa because something that they can't see in the bottom of the ocean is destroyed forever so they can have an electric car? I think people need to actually stop and get the facts about this stuff. Honestly,
there's multiple. There's multiple ways of looking at it, right?
Yeah, but just know the facts, because I would love to not be pumping gas all the time, but okay, the trade-off is I am using coal power,
right,
for energy.
Or
it's coming
gas
from somewhere.
Right.
Natural gas.
And they won't do nuclear because, we've been fed this whole idea that nuclear energy is so, because of the waste, but,
right.
I don't know.
It's
the cleanest, it's the cleanest form of electricity there is. The byproduct is, water vapor.
And if you look at what's happening in Germany because of the war in Ukraine, and they don't want to take Russian oil, but they shut down all of the nuclear power plants because everybody insisted they were shut down. Well, they wouldn't care about Russian oil right now if that wasn't the case, and they can't retool them fast enough to keep people warm this winter. So I think when you like those people who are doing that to artwork, and they're just wanting to present this knee-jerk one-side reaction to it instead of getting the facts, because the facts aren't fun. And you have to actually sit down and read a lot of technical stuff to get all the facts about something. And you may not like it at the end of the article or the end of the book or the end of the talk you listen to. You might not like the answer that you come up with. So having that knee-jerk reaction and then making it painful for other people who have differing opinions, you're going to make it painful for them by threatening something that they love. That's just so important. I just think art and museums and all of this stuff, it gets back to what I talk to people about when they're looking at buying art. Buy things that are authentic. Well, if you destroy that authenticity, so much art gets destroyed in fires or floods or whatever it is. It's a miracle that we have as much as we do to look at, and artifacts from hundreds and thousands of years,
Mm-hmm.
It makes me mad. It doesn't help the cause. That's the other thing. It doesn't make me want to buy an electric vehicle.
The other thing I heard that was kind of interesting in the same kind of vein is we're wanting to spend all this money to go to a planet that we can't survive in instead of spending that kind of money doing what we want to do to Mars on Earth, making it habitable again, or continue to be habitable.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of interesting. I never even thought of that. Interesting point somebody made.
Yeah. There's a lot of ego in all of this stuff, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Who gets to Mars first? And, maybe we should spend some of that money on therapy for our world leaders.
And the only people that's going to Mars, let's say they got this all, is the top 1% anyway. So the same ones whose ego we're talking about, right?
Right.
You and I aren't going to Mars because we won't make the list.
No, we don't. And you know what? Like the whole point of, well, if we don't do something, the world isn't going to be here. We could get hit by an asteroid, the sun,
Eventually we won't be here,
Eventually we won't. That's the guarantee.
Right.
That is the guarantee.
Yeah.
So to me, that's why I just really love, listening to Joseph Campbell and great thinkers and Buddhist thinkers, and what can I change in this world, and how can I have a lighter footprint, and how can I be more thoughtful, and like my job, how can I put more good art in the world, how can I put more good conversations out there. Like we have reasons to be here, and what you two are doing, it's a labor of love, but you put it out there in the world for people, and it creates this deeper understanding. And you know what, I think it's really true when you are friends with someone who's vastly different, a different culture, a different race, different sexual orientation, or whatever it is. When you have friends who are different than you can't be enemies with them. You just can't. It just breaks down that crap that we carry around. Like, well, I don't like that kind of person, or, I mean, to
Yeah.
me, that's a more fruitful way of spending your days, is like, you're mad at somebody for not doing what you say. Why don't you get to know them? Figure
Yeah.
out what's going on with them.
Well, and I'll be honest, when I was in my 20s and I was against same-sex marriage. Then when I met some,
Yeah.
Some people that are gay and that want to be married, and I hung out with them and became friends with them, then you realize they're no different than I am. They just want somebody to love, and they want to be able to express that love in the same way heterosexuals do, through matrimony or whatever. Mm-hmm. And they should have that right to do that.
Right. Yeah.
So you're right.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once you know somebody, it changes everything.
Yeah. And be open and get to know people. And yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And art is one way we get to know, the telling of the culture. I mean, that's how we learn about culture, is through art and music and literature. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So important.
Oh my God. 1,000%. Absolutely. Yeah. And so you can walk in anywhere into an art museum or a history museum or any kind of museum, and I just tell people, walk in, especially in art, and just let yourself be open to it. And something I really love about the genre of art that I work in for the Coors show is that it's really approachable, and you can get into it. You can walk closer into it. And then I see people get there and then they start to ask questions like, what's going on here? What's happening to me? Or, I mean, people feel it too. Like that old rancher. Like I think he felt Ted Waddell's paintings. It made him mad. It confronted him. It's like how mad people get when they stand in front of a white painting. Yeah. It really makes people mad. And a lot of the philosophy behind why people get so mad is because they have to address their own self in front of it. There's no easy guide through it, and Ted Waddell's paintings are abstract paintings or things like that. Like, now you're standing in front of it and you got to ask questions, and you're going to start to feel a lot of stuff inside yourself. I mean, people attack art. Why attack art? It's an inanimate object. If you don't like it, I mean, aside from people who are gluing themselves to stuff, aside from their deal, but people who attack art they don't like, right? Or attack the artist or say crappy things about stuff they don't like. To me, I always think, what is it about you? What are you feeling inside? I would really rather talk about that. Something's going on there, I think that's, to me, it's always fascinating. Anyway. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I'm curious. In our previous conversation, you talked about how your voice as a curator had gotten stronger over the years. Mm-hmm. How long do you think it took you to find your voice with the Coors Western and overall as a curator?
Oh, that's a good question. It's an interesting question because it's tied in with me. It's tied in with me having the strength to speak my mind or speak the truth. Not that I would choose lying. I would just choose shut up is what I'd rather do. Let's not have a conflict here. And I think when I stopped being afraid of people not liking stuff, I remember years ago, I had these contentious advisory committee members for the Coors show, these two guys in particular. And we ended up having this sort of big meeting. And one of the things they said to me was, oh yeah, and the artists say that you're really cold and you're not friendly to them. Some of the artists have said that. And I said, yeah, gotta fire them. I'm not everybody's friend. This is a job. How do you not understand? I'm a professional curator. I'm not your girlfriend. And that was kind of a big turning point for me when they did that. They actually hired somebody else behind the president of the stock shows back to curate the show. And when he found out, then those committee members stepped down. But it was it was kind of a big turning point because I hate to keep waving the I'm a woman flag, but there's a lot of shit that happens to women and in the business and every business, but that stuff especially was really, you either just give up, go cry, walk away, fine, hire a good old boy to do my job, or you stand up and you fight. And so I thought, fuck it. You want to hire someone else to do my job? I'm going to give you what for before you do it. And so that's kind of when I started to just be more vocal and really, like, not that I'm going to take on everybody. And I know there are fights I can't win. And I know there are times when I've got to call a man on my advisory committee and ask him to take this up, run this up the flagpole and see if he can fix this problem, because the pitch of my voice is a little too high for some people to understand what I'm saying. And I get that. But when it comes to art and artists, I started to just get more vocal with the artists too about saying, look, I have no intention of painting, picking up a brush, a chisel, a blob of clay, camera. I don't want to do it. I don't have a voice in what you do. Like, you do what you do, I do what I do. And my canvas is the walls, are these walls. And I'm putting a show together. And I'm creating an event that people really want to come to. And it's not a stuffy event. It's not a black tie event. It's not a pretentious event. We do things with humor and love and and when I work with artists, I say, look, this is a team sport. I need you, you need me, and we're going to make each other look really good. But you got to talk to me. And sometimes I'm going to ask you questions that make you feel uncomfortable. Sometimes I'm going to keep poking at you until you actually tell me why you're doing this work. Because I can't sell it if I don't know why you're doing it, Because those stories, Todd, when you walk around the gallery, and I always tell artists this, I'm like, people don't want to know what size brush or cadmium or linseed oil, line, shape, color, texture, design. Talk to your friends, talk to other artists about that. But collectors don't want to know that. It's stories. Because that, when you look at that art in those museums, those are stories that are handed down from generation to generation. And that's why they're just so important. So what these artists are doing is really important. And it's important to me that they're in touch with their voice. And if they're in touch with their voice, I can take it from there. I can talk for them. I can represent them. I can show their work in really good light. But if they don't know why they're doing something, a lot of times artists who don't know why they're doing something, they're either not ready to vocalize it. What's kind of spurring them on? It's sort of buried somewhere. Like I was working with one artist and she paints these really calm landscapes and kept asking her, well, why? And she finally started talking about how in her 20s she was really kind of a rageaholic, and she worked in finance and she was angry all the time. I'm like, oh my gosh. So we start talking about that. And then she just says, yeah, my dad was angry. We just never knew what he was going to say or do, or, and she said the place that I found solace was just floating in the ocean and being away, and it was quiet and calm. And that's what, now when she kind of got through the rage part and got to a point where she could pursue art, it's really calm. It's a lot ocean and things like that. And, and it's like, all right, this I can work with, and those are not, the size brush you use or the canvas you use. You can make art with anything, but it's the story you're telling. That's what terrifies me with the eco-terrorist kind of people, that they would destroy those stories that should be here way beyond us until the earth is gone,
Well said. Rose, thank you so much for spending time with us again this year and highlighting some of the things in the show. Really appreciate it. It's always fun to have you on, spend time with you. And it's always fun to be in the gallery with you at the Coors Western Art exhibit and sale. And I look forward to seeing you again during the stock show. Actually, I think I owe you a lunch date.
Well,
tacos is what you threw out. When I saw you
did. I probably did. Tacos.
But thank you. I really appreciate your time. It's always a joy. And
oh man, great
I appreciate
to be
the work
on.
you do.
I love what you guys are doing, and I love the podcast. And yeah, I'm glad you guys are doing this. My brother's from another mother. It's good.
Yeah. I love what you. I always walk away learning something when I talk to you, and I love that.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, whether you want to or not, right? This is good, you guys. Thanks. I appreciate it. Thanks for keeping me in your lineup.
You betcha.
Anytime.
All right.
Remember to check out the Coors Western Art exhibit and sale online at CoorsWesternArt.com. They have all the information about the artists, their work, and you can find the archive of all of Rose's Inside the Artist Studio talks right there in one place, along with the information and tickets for the red carpet reception, the opening gala for the Coors Western Art exhibit and sale that happens January 3rd. The Coors Western Art exhibit and sale runs from January 7th through the 22nd of 2023 at the National Western Stock Show. The gallery is located on the third level of the Expo Hall at the National Western Complex, 4655 Humboldt Street, Denver, Colorado. There is no extra fee to get into the art gallery, but there is a grounds admission charge to get into the stock show. The art gallery is open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Friday and Saturday, and 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday through Thursday. And if you are an artist that would like to take your business to the next level in 2023 and want to see the variety of services and solutions Rose has to offer, check out her website at rosefredrick.com. That's ROSEFREDRICK.com. I have all this information and more in this week's episode notes. Happy holidays from the Tenant Podcast. I'm Todd Pearson.
And I'm Wes Brown.
Have a great week.